Welcome to This Commerce Life. We are an unscripted podcast dedicated to small businesses and entrepreneurs in the retail and consumer packaged goods space in Canada and the United States.
I am Phil Chang, co-host and co-founder.
And I'm Kenny Vanucci, co-host and co-founder of This Commerce Life.
Our love is the journey to retail, and our passion is sharing that with you every week.
No rush, no panic, no luck.
Hi guys, so how are you?
Hey, we're well, and you?
Good. You know what? I had to try to figure out how to get on. I had my daughter come up. Let's see. Where's
Tell your daughter to get the video. I want to see that beautiful face.
I know. How's that?
Wow, look at that beautiful face.
No hair, but I'm here. And it's good.
About as much hair as either of us. It's all good.
Wow.
He's older.
Me and him have no hair.
Hey, don't put me into your boat that quick. You're older
you
than
have
me.
no hair too, Kenny.
No, look, I'm a little more than you.
Danny, you and I are going to get along just fine. It's all good.
Yeah, exactly.
So
how are you guys
excited.
today?
I'm so
still at
excited
work.
to talk to you. I'm so excited. I told my mom yesterday. She goes, because my mom's been listening to the podcast. Amelia never listens to a podcast.
Really? Your mom listens to the podcast?
My mom's been listening. So she goes, who do you have coming on? I said, I have Danny. She goes, Danny who? I said, Danny, you're thinking, Danny Ferraro. I said, yeah. Oh my God, tell me when that comes out. I'm so excited to hear him. And make sure you say hi to Danny.
And say hi to them.
I will do that.
Okay, please.
No, 100%. I'll tell them, as soon as I hang up with you, I'll phone them and let them know because they're excited.
Yeah, I know.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm at work, guys. So it is what it is, right?
No, you're in living color. We wouldn't have it any other way.
Good.
No, and this is super. I told you, super cash. This is not This is it.
Okay.
No, but like retail is like this, right? Like sometimes it's going to be like this. So there's a pet store owner that I want to bring on the show here, and she's like, "What happens if?" And I was like, "Listen, if it's too hard, I'll come to the store."
Yeah.
Kenny, I'll just do it off a laptop with you in the store. Like you can keep doing what you got to do because she's like, I got to merge and I got to clean up. Like
your thing.
It's retail, right? What else are you going to do, right? Like,
exactly.
When you're in retail, anything happens, right?
Yeah. Everything happens.
Everything happens. Everything.
Yeah.
It's a changed environment. We went through the last 2 years. That was a hard 2 years for the employees, right?
Yeah.
Because we took the blunt of it. We had to do what we had to do without knowing what was going on.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we go, because I'm so excited to hear about that. So what we're going to do, introduce who you are quickly, because usually Phil and I take about half an hour to get to that part. We'll do it faster today. Okay. And then the format is mindlessly easy. Basically, it's your 45 minutes to an hour. That's
okay.
It. So today we have on Danny Ferraro. I'm fucking super excited to have Danny on. It's friends of the family from the old days when we used to live in Trail. Danny will tell you his family history and how they got into retail. But at this point, they own 2 stores, one in Trail, one in Roslyn, Ferraro Foods. Phenomenal looking stores. You would never imagine to see a store like these in such small communities. Draws from all over the area. I am literally super stoked to have Danny on. My mom is super stoked that we have Danny on. Even my dad's even happy, and he doesn't even listen, but he just loves Danny, so it doesn't matter. So it's all good. But Danny, really and truly, if you can give us just maybe a brief history, because your family is rooted in retail, and you are a family business, and we love that angle. And then we'll just pop some questions off, but I would really love to go where you were going, how retail has been prior to COVID, during COVID, and what do you think you see the next part to be? Sure.
Well, Kenny, as you know, and your viewers don't, my dad and his 3 sisters came over from Italy quite a few years ago. I think they would have been, I'm just going to guess, about 85 years in business. They came over with nothing. They started a little superette, and they catered to, which was an Italian community. And if you didn't have money, they would cover your bill until you got paid, and created a huge loyalty. And from there, they grew to 29 stores in BC and Alberta under the SuperValu name. They were doing almost 200 million a year back in the day. And I think we had 1,200 employees.
That's
and
crazy.
From that point on, retail and wholesale, we had our own produce wholesale. We had our own bakery. We had our own bottling facility. We had
Wow.
Coca-Cola. We used to bottle for Coke. And remind me, I'll write it down because that was a good story because I was working there at the time. My dad came over with a request, but we'll laugh about that.
Okay.
But so we've been in the business, doing business for over 80 years. We were all brought up in the business. I used to have to go to kindergarten class across the street because my mom didn't drive at that time. And I used to bag potatoes and onions until someone could give me a ride home at 5 years old. I said, oh my God, it was a challenge with them. They were forerunners. They did everything for their customer. They taught us, that's how they taught us. That's why we're still in business today and a thriving business. But some of the history, when No Name first came out, Kelly Douglas at the time knew we had a bottling facility and said, my dad said, hey, can we try this, put a label on this pop, because we had bottles, right? And see how it goes. And so they said, yeah. So I got the phone call at that time because we had to learn every aspect. I had to drive truck, I had to bake bread, I had to cut meat, I had to work in the facility. And he said, I need you to make pop. I said, okay, Dad, but I just have the syrup for Coca-Cola. It doesn't matter, just put it in the bottle. That was okay. So we did that. It was so funny. I got busted about 3 weeks later because I ordered a pallet of syrup and they said, well, your sale, because how they worked is you paid a fee for your case. That was their loyalty fee, right? You didn't pay nothing for the syrup. So anyways, it was so funny, but that was the start of it, for them. And that was when Kelly said, well, this is, they just expanded with it, right? And they never took no from anybody. I remember being a little kid and being from store to store through the area here, because my poor mother there were 6 of us wild animals. So I think I was maybe 10 or 11, and I would have to go with my dad, and then my job was to count cauliflowers coming off the truck. It was a truck, like an open field truck. And back in the day, you had to go through all your marketing boards to get anything, right? So we would go, and I don't know what time we got home, but whatever it was. And so that's the kind of retailers they were. They were in front, very generous, honest. Even to this day, if someone doesn't have money, they don't pay, right?
Really?
It's the way because at the time they had no money, right? People helped them. So it's all about, and if someone needs a hand and they don't have enough to pay today, but they want to pay, we do hold their bills. Like there's probably 10 on my wall here.
I was telling Amelia this, like in the old days, because that me and a couple of buddies, actually I'm in the restaurants, we ended up taking over a small retailer in East Vancouver just now.
Yeah.
No, right. You probably remember, so I don't know why we're doing it. That's a different discussion. That's a different
Well, let's do it together. Come on, I'll tell you. We'll do something together.
I don't want to hear any horror stories before we get it open because they're going to freak me out even more than I already am. So we were talking about in the old days going down to either your store or to Pasquale's and running tabs. So our moms would send us down, hey, go get the lunch meat or go get the things and put it on our tab, right?
Yeah.
Right. And I tell people that here, like, and they're thinking, what do you mean? What's a tab? I'm thinking, what do you mean tab? You go to the store, you tell me, then my mom will pay you later. I got to get the vegetables. I got to go home because we're going to get shit if we don't get home quickly. I got no time to discuss the logistics here. But it was that type of thing. So Phil, because Danny will gloss over it, but there was 6 kids in the family. There's 4 boys, 2 girls. Yeah. There was no child labor laws in the Ferraro household. And if there
the labor I'm familiar with this. It's that every child will do labor. It's not.
Yeah.
And as
I
long
know
as they
this.
could
I know
walk
this
and
rule.
carry a case cutter and not cut themselves, they're good to go. So
Yeah.
4 or 5 years old, baby,
Yeah,
lightest.
so true. It's so true, Kenny. And you know what? I laugh when my dad built his house. I had to stop my friends from coming over because as soon as they came over to say they're coming to get, we're going to go play. No, hold on. We got to plant trees. We got to rake the yard. We got to, my poor dad worked like a dog. So we helped him all the time, but it was funny.
But it's a good work ethic. I mean, that was the old school.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you go, and it's funny, if in the BC law books, the Egg Marketing Board, and this is a great story, my dad and his aunts, I don't know what the price was. I probably was around 11. And my dad and my aunt, the Egg Marketing Board had, they told you what to sell that for. And
Right.
so they used to get eggs from Winnipeg, and as us kids, we'd repack them into Ferraro's packages. But at the end of the day, they got caught, but they challenged them and they won. And it is in there. And it was their article in the Vancouver Sun was like, Their Majesty, Ferraro, or my aunt and that against Their Majesty, and won. And
That's
we
awesome.
won in court. We challenged them. We brought it to a head, challenged them. So that's a kind of history
That was Esther, I'm assuming.
yeah, that was Esther and
So
my dad.
that's Danny's aunt, his father Jimmy's sister, and Esther
Yeah, so
was
there's
like
two.
nails.
So
Man. That
one
woman
was, yeah, Esther and Nella.
and Nella, and Esther was like full on, like,
Yeah,
man, you just stayed the hell out of her way because if she was on, she was on.
yeah, and
Good woman, nice,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
one, but tough as nails.
Yeah,
Tougher
And
than your dad.
Oh yeah. Well, he sent everybody to her,
I would
and
guess
she
so.
raked them over the coals to get the best product. Again, from nothing to where they are today and to where we are today. I mean, it's there's no difference. We have I don't know how many meat cutters. I think I have 220 employees right now.
In the 2 stores.
Yeah, we have other businesses too.
I know
but-
you have other businesses too,
Yeah,
but
but I think the stores are pushing 190 to 200.
Wow.
We cut all, if you want to come in here and get a tomahawk steak, it's there. You want to go to the deli, we make our own ham, our own roast beef, our own turkey. I don't know what
Wow.
Trail goes through for sandwiches, but it's probably in the neighborhood of 400 to 500 a day. We do. Our stores are extremely busy.
Phil,
Right.
I'm telling you, when you come to Vancouver, we'll drive. I know it's a 7-hour drive,
Yeah.
but we'll
I
go
don't
and
care.
I shit you not. It's
Yeah.
worth.
No, I don't care. I
It's
don't
worth
care.
it.
I
This
think
is a
that's
small
amazing.
town. Trail's
Yeah.
not a
Yeah.
metropolis.
Yeah.
Trail's a
Well,
small
whatever
town.
you need, what our goal is, if you see it on a cooking show, we'll get
You'll
it
get it.
or we'll have it. And 99% of the time we'll have it. When we open every day at 6:30, we start our staffs around 6 o'clock, but it's old school training. So every department by 6:30, 7 o'clock is ready for business and ready. Like I don't think I've had a bad day, but in any department, our department sales are through the roof. Why? Because we want quality. We want you to have the best of the best at the best possible price. And we're shopping. Like before I met with you guys, trying to find, because we buy stuff out of California all the time. We get brokered out of Vancouver and then it comes up. But we're there for our customer. And the last few years have been challenging.
So walk us through that, though, Dan. So walk us
Yeah.
through.
So
You know,
when
COVID hit.
when COVID hit, it was like, okay, we didn't know what to expect. We knew something bad was there. So we right away, our first concern was our staff. So our customers. So we started to get, and that what saved my butt was Starbucks, because we do have a Starbucks in our store. So
Mhm.
that
I
tells
saw
you
that in the pictures.
that will sort of let you know that we're not a slow store. And just to let you know, I think Kenny, this is as of a month ago, that Starbucks is the busiest one in, I think it's more than Canada, but for my category.
I wouldn't be surprised that you also got good people. Melinda's good. Like, you got good people
Well,
running
it's
the
all
show.
about it's all about people.
It's
And
always
that's what
people.
everybody
Bill, see, I'll
misses the boat.
plug Danny more than Danny will plug it. I shit you not. When you go into the store, if you go into any department, or if you ask people on the floor, and this is not because I was born and raised in Trail and I know the family. I shit you not. A great retailer, like, always customer centric, always customer focused. Always find him. Like, if you find him, sometimes he'll talk too much that you slow his workday down. But he stops and talks to everybody. Now, James and David maybe aren't as nice as Danny, and that's okay. We still love them. But.
Yeah, well, they're the bad half of the fan. No, everyone, and you know what? There's three of us, three brothers. Our sisters work here, but we all have a different job. We all have our jobs, and we do it, and we help each other if you need to get help. Do you know what I mean? So, but it's when the whole thing hit, it was just, okay, what do we do? And then our number one concern, again, our customer. So, we put the things up immediately. I phoned a friend. I said, look, I don't care what it costs. I need these, the plastic shields up for the people. We were getting shields for the employees, for customers. And then we opened up every day, and that's where we stayed 6:30. We opened up every day at 6:30 till 8 o'clock, both stores for senior citizens. So that means that no one was allowed in the building that could get them sick. And we did it, and then all of a sudden everybody started doing it. But that was important to us, because, it was just one story after another. And then as things progressed, it just got more difficult with everyone. Some people, they didn't want to follow any rule, and we really stuck by our guns. And with Starbucks giving us, because we sort of knew what was coming, because they were on top of it, right? Because they were in China at the time. So we got filled in, and we just based everything that they did, we did, right? And maybe a little bit further. Just, I always like to caution on to be safe, right? And, but our business, Ken, you'll get a kick out of this. So all three brothers, we all bug each other. So, we'll say, why, Danny, when are you going to stop doing this? And then I'd say, well, that's what our customer wants. I really don't care, right? And David's issue was, and Kenny will verify, the cheapest time to buy toilet paper when Kenny was with London Drugs was January and June, right, Kenny? Yeah. Okay, so every January, every June, we had 1,000 cases of toilet paper come in, because we kept inventory. We have a thing. So when this whole thing hit and everybody was scrambling for toilet paper, well, we had 1,000 cases. So David, as soon as it hit this toilet paper, I said, you phone that guy and you try to get another truck on the road. Because, I said, okay, I'm not going to bug, because we used to say, oh, you got a toilet paper fetish? But so some of the things we did, and people panicked, are we going to run out of food? Trust me, we can handle food. You might eat pasta, but you're going to eat, right? You're going to eat something. You won't starve.
Right.
Because people were coming from all over the place, $1,000 on meat. See, guys, there's no issue. But there was a few days that it was stressful. And I got to tell you, through long-term relationships with everyone, everyone stepped to the plate. We had some great local people for milk that we could rely on. Eggs, we were already local, but all our meat producers, they were so good to us. And and they really didn't have to, but we never ran out of, if it was only for a day.
Right.
But we kept everything over and just did what we did. We, what we were taught to do every day of your life, make sure you can run it. But it wasn't the easiest task, because when this whole thing transpired, you have just trying to find product, and then every container stopped. So you can imagine now all the Italian foods, again, we always had that inventory. Kenny knows.
You're lucky you got space and you have the
Because we
ability
had
to
our own
buy.
warehouses that
Right.
had, right? So then, and when we saw it, we bought it from other local guys, and we went on. But all in all, it taught us to be respectful for everything that we are doing today. And back in, it was amazing, because back in, I think it was 2000, or no, probably 1990 something, my dad, he was still alive at the time, and he said, "Son, could you go check, because something happened to one of his guys that sprayed the trees right here. He got sick and he passed." And he said, "Go down and see what's going on down there in California." Well, I came home, I said, "We got to change our whole area where we are, because it's not good." And so our whole philosophy has been from day one is to make sure that I'm getting Kenny or Phil or Danny the best that I could get, and that I'm making sure that we're getting the best that we can get. And that's something that our customers trusted and really stuck beside us with it. And we did our best in everything we did. You can't call everything 100%, but it's been great. And going from 0 to 100, that's the only way I could explain it, in 24 hours. And I remember with every staff member of every department, I said, "I don't care what you order, and the truck will be there to pick it up. Just order." And one guy goes, "Well, how much do you want?" I said, "I want at least a full truck of produce here tomorrow. So order whatever you got to do in that and get it here." I said, "Because you're going to need it." And it's, we have some incredible staff. And Kenny, when you talked, you said, it's all about who you have. Like when you ask a question, if Kenny comes and asks, and if some young kid doesn't know, he's going to ask, right? But it's that was embedded into us, and that's how we run our business today. And we do it, we're a very busy location, but it's all I could best way to explain is we're like Whole Foods, but at every man's prices.
Right.
And that's
Wow.
because we're shopping, right? So now that COVID's over, well, not really, but that it's
Different.
it's getting better. Our business hasn't stopped, and it's just been, you think, okay, where are we going to go? Are we going to go back? But our growth since COVID started, our arrow is straight up, and it's still straight up. So every day is just trying to challenge to try to find out what to order, what to get. But it's
the stats like for a second, if we pull away from that. So because you guys were a grocer, like a true grocer,
yeah,
you're deemed in essence essential service.
yeah,
Lots of things are closed. You guys never closed. So you've got staff now that has been running literally probably full tilt since February 2020. Because I know you guys are still busy. I mean, I'm still connected to this industry, and August Trail is going to be my first check-in because that's where I was born and raised. So that's
exactly.
The whole world sort of revolves around that, and then East Van, and then who cares about the rest anyway? But, the rest. But that's pretty much about as far as
There is the rest of the world. Okay, come on, get
sure. I mean, outside of Trail and East Van, okay, whatever. It's really not that important. Well, maybe Italy, but that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
But how do you, so like, how did you manage the staff, I guess is one of the sort of things, and how do you continue, because they haven't had a break. Like, I don't think they have anyway.
No, well, you know what? We were really good with everyone, with their kids and that. Because when this whole thing came on and they said we're essential and don't worry, we're going to look after you. Well, the minute they got vaccines, they said, oh, you're down the list. We have to do this, which was fine, right? But the employees, they were, you know what? I'm very proud of every employee because they did what they did with the knowledge they have. Sometimes there was some nervousness, I will tell you that. And you know what? If you're that nervous, don't worry, take the day off, relax. Let's get through this, right? But it did take a toll. We did lose some people to, I just need a break, right? But we followed it right through, gave them their breaks, and then, you know, they're right back at it. Right. So, which is good. But it was hard. It wasn't easy, Kenny and Phil. It was, that was a task and a half, because what is this? Can't see the virus, can't do it. And then you try to work. And I take my hat off to the medical field for 10 hours a day or 12 hours a day with a mask on was horrible. Like,
yeah, it's pretty amazing.
You know, it was hard.
You forget about those little things though, but that's how, you know, and these kids and people that you have, because there's a lot of kids that work in the store, but
yeah,
people
for sure.
They're not medical people. They haven't done masks for 20 years. You go from no masks all your life to wearing this covering.
Yeah.
And then you probably even get, like, trails are not too bad. You get people yelling at you or getting mad at you, like, what, you know, you're thinking, like, what the hell do I have to do with this?
Yeah.
Well, and I used to say to people, and just to let everyone know, because we took it so serious, every single person that walked in the building got their hands sanitized by us, by one of the greeters, right? Because we put somebody on it. And if you had a allergic reaction, we took you to a sink, you washed your hands. You know, it had to be a wash your hands or sanitized. And it worked, because probably for a good year and a bit there, no one got sick. Like, nobody, other than, you know, taking days for just
mental health.
Yeah. But no one got sick. None of us. Now we're into it because everything's open, right? But it's been good. It taught us a little lesson, and this is where I had a company call and say, "How are you doing? Are you struggling for staff?" Yeah, we are. But are we getting through it? Yeah, we are. But the key factor is, a lot of people said when this whole thing came out and they got laid off or whatever, you know what, they were 60, maybe 65, enough. Because the country was being run by a lot of older people, right? And so I remember this one group said, what do you do for truck drivers? Or I said, look, guys, if it was me, I said, I'll tell you what you can do, because I reached out to a few people that were tired and said, hey, you want to work 1 or 2 days a week? Just something, just to give me, and you know what? They came back right away. So that this company phone and said, you know, Dan, that worked. I said, they want to help. They're going to help you. But now we got to see, but it's getting better.
Yeah.
Our staff is getting better.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you got to pay people for what they're worth too.
Well, the whole world's changed, right? It's gotten, you know, between the mental health issues of staff, people figured out, I don't know if they figured out that their personal worth was more, or if they should just be treated differently.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure what the kicker was or what the trigger was on that one, but people did figure out that they could ask for more. They probably deserved more. And we just have to figure out as a society how we're going to play this out now.
Yeah. You know what? That's probably a really good analogy of it, because people today, but they want to work, they want to contribute, but you can't live with what's going on out there with inflation, with everything. No, you can't live with making 15.45 an hour. I don't even pay my students that. Coming in when you're a student, once you're trained, you're making more money, right? But it's what it is. It's I think society today is more efficient than it's ever been. And that's what it's all about, right? It's okay.
Yeah. I wonder, I think you answered part of it already. I guess I wondered if, with the staffing issues you've had and things like that, have you found other ways to kind of fill in the gaps on customer experience, right? Like, cause that's,
yeah. Well, we take a good, we have family members and whatever, and we just have to do what we got to do. And, I feel for my kids, for myself, I'm here every day at 4:30 in the morning just to make sure that everything's, because I'm in charge of most of the fresh and all the trucking that come in. So I'm constantly on the look at what we're doing and where we're going. But I think with everything that is trying, I think we've done a great job, and I think they've done a great job, and they've been filling in for everything. So, and a lot of our staff are, Danny, don't worry, I'll come in extra, I'll do it there, and then we'll give them an extra day off or whatever, right?
Really?
And that's what it is. It's a two-way street.
Yeah.
So if someone needs it, right? So they need
That's amazing.
it. You have to do it. And our staff know that if they need something, they can ask. I always tell them, you just ask me. I'd rather give it to you. And it doesn't matter if you're, if it's a family matter, we're there for you, right? And we do cross-train everybody. Like all our staff, we've been doing that the last little while. Our packers know how to run tills, or, some of our cashiers will be able to go in Starbucks, even though I hate trying to make American. No, I don't hate it. I love it. But I can go in there and cover. I can fill in a gap. I can maybe be a hindrance, but maybe help, right? So
I do think, Danny, when you say that, though, I think this is one of the things. There's two parts that I want to talk to you about quickly. Because I told Phil, I've already texted him. I said I talk too much because I love Danny, and it's like I'm back home when I get excited, right? But
I'm interested in the store in Vancouver. I'm interested in the store. Let's go.
Don't worry about the store. We talk about that later. What I want people to appreciate is that this is a family of 6.
Yeah.
Right. And everybody, Shane's involved too still, right? Shane's in the business.
Yeah, a little. Yeah, he does. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So there's a family of 6. Your sisters were in the store. The 4 brothers have been in the store.
Yeah.
The 3 brothers work together. So in terms of even family dynamics, the division of who does what, because I know your brothers, everybody's got strong personalities.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So how do you manage through that?
Yeah.
And then I'll talk about sort of the leadership thing that Phil and I have been talking about a lot about leadership in the last 6 months. And there's some things that you guys do exceptionally well that I'll talk about in a second. But like, how do you work through the family dynamics of, because a lot of people we have are working with family and friends. And I think they need to really appreciate that that's complicated. It's more complicated to work with family than strangers.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, Kenny, and this is something that we were told as kids. And this is, if you want to be in business with your family, you've got to remember this. You can fight during the day. Don't try not to fight in front of the employees. That's number one. You can yell, you can scream, you can call each other names, whatever it is. But when you leave the store, he's your brother. So we are still brothers. So, and we know we don't cross over. So we all do what we do that is the best. And we all, of course, because we're strong, we'll all sort of meddle in each other's business, right? But at the end of the day, it's all for the better of the cause, right? And And so we work, but if you're working with family, I mean, there's nothing better than it. I mean, there isn't. And you gotta remember, they're your sister, they're your brother. And I don't know, it's, like I say, at the end of the day, when you go home, if you're gonna have supper, go have supper with your brother. What happened at the store is gone, right? And start again. Tomorrow's a new day. It's what it is. That's what business is, right? So,
Kenny, what's the other half? You had a second
and I
half.
think one of the things I think if people would learn anything from actually probably from all of them, including, you know, his parents and aunts are long gone. But
Yeah.
it was one thing that I think they all did really well. And it's one thing that I try to even do with our business, and I know you do, Phil, is never get an employee to do something that you wouldn't do yourself.
yeah,
So if you wouldn't do it because it was unsafe or you're scared of your health, you should never get them to do it.
yeah,
Right. And I that is one thing for sure, because you alluded to it, you know, the pitching in and this and that. I don't need you to be a cashier because you're going to be the most expensive cashier in the building. Right. I don't need you to put out produce because you're the most expensive stock guy I got. But, you know, it's yours. You're part of it. And I think your team seeing that you're not scared to get your hands dirty, not 24/7. That's not your role. Your role is to be the ambassador. James does James, David does David. I get that, but it's important, right?
Well, see, and so David does bakery and grocery. That's his job. So he has his team. That's all they do. James does meat and Italian. So anything Italian that comes in, that's James. James and David cross over there, and, you know, like any good brothers, we might argue, okay, well, you know, you sell that too cheap, or, you know, why you do that? Oh my, it is what it is. But with me, I do the rest. And everyone says, why do you put out produce every morning? Or like every department I turn on in the morning. And the reason I do it, it's not because I have to work. It's because I want to see what's coming in. Because when I first started in the day, if I don't see something I like, pictures taken, I send it to the buyer that I bought it from. Hey guys, this needs some attention. What are you doing? I don't know.
What's going on here? Yeah.
Yeah. And so they know they can't play games, because once that picture comes, right behind it's a credit note saying, hey guys, I'm not satisfied with this. Come and get it if you want it, but it's going to the food bank. And that's so important. So no matter what area that we're here is, I can do, you know, I'm there checking to make sure that there's a procedure in place. There's things that have to be done, but you know, I'm getting old. I'm losing trains of thought. That all the suppliers that we have are really, really top notch. And you know what? They come visit. They know what we're up against, and we give them it. But we're very loyal to.
Right.
We are, right?
Can I ask you?
Big thing.
Can I ask you, because getting someone who is the receiver of goods, we don't get this very often, but we have a lot of, you know, brands that are fresh and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, really excited, and they think they've got the best thing that you, Mr. Retailer, should have.
Yeah.
What are the first things that you look for? Do you know what I mean? Like, because like every brand, you know, those brands, right? Like all the start, you know, hey, I got this thing, and it's, you know,
nobody's done it. This is the best thing in the world.
Yeah. What do you look for?
What we look for? What is it? What customer are we going to attract today? What makes you different than who Timbuktu sells this? I'll give you an example. We have this it's called roasted chickpea. So they made these meals, and guys, they're vegan meals. They're you know, we sell meals for like $7.99, and they're fresh made right here, or maybe it's $10 now, I don't know. But these meals were like $15. And I thought to myself, but you know what I said? You know what? There's a lot of vegans, and she had this pudding. So whenever you're going to do a product, find out what is needed in the category. What is it that's needed? And capitalize on what's needed. I'll give you an example. And not too many people know this, but when Walmart decided to come to Trail BC, everyone, all the suppliers, we had a few suppliers get really, wasn't very happy with, but reality, that's the way they take their stand, and we're not going to do this with you anymore because we have them. I said, oh, okay, well, when they throw you out, you can come and visit me again, but it'll be different circumstances. But I embraced, because I sold to them for a while too. So, and Kenny knows, we sold to every single one of them in the US for about 2 years. But so what do they do good? What do they do not good? What do they have? What do they don't have? Let's capitalize on what they want to do. So I phoned the manager and I said, hey guys, I'm just going to tell you, and only if you get this okayed by the office, because when we do our radio advertising, I want to say, whatever you can't find at your store, if you're coming from out of town to shop at Walmart, come to Ferraro's, we'll have the rest. Well, just to let you know, my business, usually business goes down when a Walmart comes into town, right? My business increased about 30%. So what did I do? So study what you have and how you're going to market it, and then go for it and watch. We have tried to do other products to bring them to market and everything, and it has cost a lot of money. Trust me, it has. But you got to see where today's customer is, and we today have we've hired an Instagram woman that's doing it. I don't know if you guys have been watching the Instagram posts and stuff with Ferraro's, but it's a whole new category for us, right? And
yeah,
and I said to the girl, we got to make it good, and we got to do things right. And so we have been doing that, and that's understanding the customer, because that's the customer we have. And I never really thought of that. So that's, if you're bringing a product, understand your customer, understand who you want to capture. And then if the retailer doesn't want to bring you on, force the retailer by selling the product, by getting the customer to ask for the product. And that's, we get a lot of people saying, hey, have you tried this product from Salt Spring Island? Yeah, well, it's a friend through a friend. And boom, hey, let's give it a whirl. If it's doing that good down there, it'll do that good here, right? Yeah. We're in a different category altogether, because we're only a few stores, even though that we're very busy, right? Yeah. But those are the kind of things and you got to believe in what you're selling. That's the biggest thing, believe in it.
Yeah.
And make sure you're telling it.
I love it.
And follow through. The follow through's got to be there. Like if you say, I love the big competitors, because they throw these big ads and they throw these big things and they say, it's the best thing, it's got the best picture. But then when you go in the store, it doesn't look like it. There's no follow through. So capturize that. Make sure the follow through is right through to the end. And it is the best that if someone's going to eat it, I'm not a vegan, say I'm not a vegan, and then I try it, or if it's a gluten-free product, and it can be there. And it's because society today is changing. And I mentioned I try to stay on top of stuff. Like I really try. I'm not just environmental thing, what people don't realize today, what's happening in the environment is causing what's happening with pricing.
Yeah.
So I've there's a couple of really good shows I watched a few years ago, and I've been staying on top of it. But it's the biggest little farm that's in California. If you haven't watched that video, you should watch it. There's another one, Kiss the Grass. Kiss the Grass.
Mhm.
You should watch that because, guys, if we can change a few things today, we can solve a lot of issues.
Absolutely.
And because produce is the most volatile one, and people say, Danny, how can you always call it? What I watched if I'm in California buying something today, or I know one of my main suppliers is getting that cauliflower from there, I watch the weather. I'll call for a price when I see the weather change, and then I'm secure, locked in for a week more. But there's more and more of that we're doing today that but there is change coming. I didn't get a chance, excuse me, I didn't get a chance to go to the strawberry place in Vancouver, in California. They're called Happy Berries. And the berry, what everyone's gone to, it's planted outside. They're on benches. The way they're farmed, they're not farmed in soil. So they're like a hydroponics, but outside.
Right.
They're producing, don't hold me to it, but 30% more product. Their labor
Taking up less land, all the other things that et cetera.
40% less water, fully environmental, this is a full thing. And they just started, there's robots starting to pick them. Not only people, but they're trying to teach so that it's totally sustained. It can be picked 24 hours a day. And at the ripest there is, right? Of course, it's brand new. Not everyone has it. But I always try to be on top of stuff like that. And I've been promoting them. Excuse me, they're just in the midst of changing fields, or the replant.
Yeah.
But it's been phenomenal. So
it's a changing world, Danny, right? I think that's what's going to happen. People are going to have to figure, I think one thing the pandemic showed, not that so much the pandemic caused it, but the symptoms later on were that our food supply chain is horrific in the country. It's not great in the world in general, but specifically it's horrific in our country. And I think this is where we need people that are a lot more innovative, whether it's hydroponics, whether it's the stuff you're describing or whatever. And it's our job as I guess, retailers and consumers to start demanding more of it. Yeah. Because we're not going to be around much. We're killing this planet, it seems, at a rapid rate. We got to figure something out quickly.
When I went to California, my wife will tell you the story back in 97 and or whatever, it was 1990 something. My dad sent me. I watched tomatoes being picked because they pick them at night, and there was a B train truck, so 2 trucks being pulled, 1 strip. The strip wasn't, geez, you know what? It wasn't huge, like it was maybe the length of 4 city blocks in Vancouver.
Right.
And the machine went along, picked it, and there was another truck on the next row. And I said to the guy, hey, is that truck, because you don't fill the truck because it's maybe the tomatoes don't crush, or he goes, oh no, that truck's got 80,000 pounds. I said, oh, okay. I said, well, off of that plant? Yeah. I said, okay. I said, do you mind if I go take a closer look? Because we were on the thing's way down there. Let me look. So when I went to look, I couldn't even lift the branch. There were so many tomatoes. That's how heavy it was. And I said, hey, what are you guys doing here? well, I've never seen this before, and it was, it's what they're producing, and whether it was steroids or whatever it was, right? But that's back in the 90s. In today's market has totally changed, and the young people today want answers. They want to know that you are doing your best job in getting the best for them. You're going to make errors, like I'm going to make errors, but that's our goal, is to find out and deal with whoever it is. And it's no different than when you're going to launch a product. Just be truthful, just be good.
Yeah, I think that's where Phil and I have been talking a lot. It's the authenticity in what you do. I hate that word because we overuse that word because of social media, but it's just be true to you.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. One of our good friends' daughter went and did Happy Pops. Hey, young girl, 23 years old. They're liquor freezies. And she did it, and she's in California, and I still send her stuff. I sent her a little display thing, and one morning when I saw this little freezy display thing, I thought it would be perfect for their liquor store things, right? I said, look at this for next year. And, right away I got a text back. I mean, that was at 5:30 in the morning, but she's committed to making that brand work, and she is making that brand work. That's awesome. Right?
That's amazing.
So
awesome. What's next for you, Danny? What's, like, you've got 2 stores, right? Like, what?
Yeah, we're going to go into an expansion here. So
you're going to buy Kenny's store? Is that what's happening?
We're going to show Kenny how to be us. We'll work with Kenny to be. He's Italian. He's already with us. Right now, we got to make him even go further with us.
I love it.
Isn't that so true? He's got his mic shut off. I think he's getting yelled at by his.
He's getting yelled at by the restaurant. But I think while he's on mute, what we should do is just decide how much management control you get of his store. So when he comes back on, we can.
Oh, yeah. We'll take 95%. We'll give him 5. How's that?
I think so.
If I was 10 or 15 years younger, it would be, because no one is out there doing and care about the customer. So that's what we do the best at. And we're always there to look. It's the art of doing what we do. Oh, so Ken, while you were off, just to let you know, we took over your business, and we're going to give you 5% stake. We're taking 95.
Thanks, Kenny.
It's no big deal. And by the way, we're not paying.
Yeah. And we don't know why you're still.
It really doesn't sound like a Ferraro. I mean, I'm shocked.
We also don't know why you're still sitting there and not working. Because
I was telling a guy came into the restaurant, and he's going, "I'm the cleaner here." I'm thinking, listen, the boys are at Norman's. Go up the street. Go talk to them there. The restaurant by myself. I got the key, but the door's open. And he's Vancouver, so you can't just leave doors open. Coming in, get out of here.
Oh, he hasn't changed.
No,
but you know what? But all in all, I think that's the key. We do have some life left in us, and it was I had a really interesting fellow I met 15 years ago, just passed last year. He passed at 103. He did not have to work. I met him by fluke in New York with a real close friend of mine, and then we hit it off, and anything we wanted to do with each other, we did. And I said to him, why are you not retired? And he said, I don't have a purpose. This is my purpose. He said, Danny, I go in to sign checks, but it's I get out of bed every day to go. He said, most of my friends that died retired at 65. If they didn't have a purpose in life,
they're gone.
They died.
Yeah.
Golf is not a purpose. Like, you need more. Like, you need to do shit.
Your mind's got to be active, whatever it is. And
I'm with you. I'll work until they put me into the box, because what else am I going to? I enjoy working. I like the people.
Yeah.
And I'll take a lot of your examples, and that's what we're going to go to Norman's with. We'll do a podcast, the 3 of us, in about 5 months when I get that open, then I'll tell you some stories too.
But you know what? I'll come down. We'll come down and we'll visit each other. But
I'd love that. Like
Yeah,
if you're
oh,
coming down,
the next time
I
Phil
would
comes
like
to
to come,
Vancouver.
and then we can film it live.
Yeah,
The next
yeah,
time
yeah.
Phil comes to Vancouver, what we'll do, like I'm serious, I'll get him to
I'm
stay an extra
coming.
day or two. We'll
I'm
come to
coming when
Trail.
Danny's coming.
We'll stay at the
So when
Crown
Danny
Point.
says he's coming, I'm coming. Okay.
Either Danny comes here, or I know you got to come to Trail. And then what we'll do is we'll
Okay.
sit down with
Yeah,
David,
yeah.
Danny, and James,
Yeah.
and do a
And we'll-
5-person podcast. Phil, you'll love it. A great family, all
Well, you'll see how the whole thing works, and it's
plus you'll
simple.
see Trail.
Yeah, exactly.
I like
But
it.
I'm coming, Kenny. I'll probably be there within the month because I got a couple other things that I do with.
Danny,
You
if you
know.
come down, just let us know, and I'll let my mom and dad know because
Yeah.
honestly,
Oh,
you know, I'll
and
tell you
I'll
what, you
ask
said
them what they
Instagram.
need. I'll ask them what they need.
You know
first.
what? That's what we should do. And I'll tell you what, even my dad noticed your Instagram because yesterday I told him, I took him to a clinic and I said, they're coming down to see you.
Yeah.
They're coming. I'm talking to Danny tomorrow. He goes, oh my God, they do so much on Facebook and Instagram now.
Yeah.
So even my dad noticed it.
You know, and this is something that, you know, with people, this, and I never really thought of, we did an Instagram post on our pizzas, and you know, I love anything. I love food, right? And so when we did it, I ate it, like I ate a piece and it was good, like, right? And everybody commented. No one ever, when they're, you know, you never see anybody eating it. You just see somebody telling you that it's good. And I never really thought about that. But see, that makes sense. So going back to everyone, right? Believe in your product
Absolutely.
and do make it the best you can make.
Amazing.
Danny, that was a wonderful hour.
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for
Thank
joining
You're
us.
welcome.
Thanks for coming
Anytime.
on. Seriously, I really appreciate it. I really do.
Okay,
I'll say hi to my mom
me and
dad.
Phil are going to come and take over for you. Don't worry.
Well, we've already taken over. So
Just
after
relax.
this, you just
Just
you get to
relax.
work, and then Danny and I will come and supervise and kind of
I
critique
got to go
and
do
make
some
sure you did it
pressure
right.
washing
So,
now. I got some shelves to clean. I got lots of stuff
attaboy.
to do. I got no
Attaboy.
time for the two of you no more. I got to
Oh
go.
my God. I agree. Thanks, guys.
Danny, say hi to the
Thanks,
family.
Danny.
I
I'll
will.
say hi to
Same
my
to
mom
you.
and dad, and we'll
Yeah, please,
chat
for
to
me.
you soon.
Yeah. Nice to meet
Okay.
you, Phil. See you
Take
later.
care.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah.
Take care.
Phil, you hang on. Danny, we'll
Yeah.
chat with you later.
Okay.
Bye, Danny.
See you.
Ciao.
Yeah.
He's great.
He's awesome.
I know you.
They're
I know
family
you
business,
said.
right? That's what they've been doing for years and years and years, right?
Yeah, and I know you said to kind of jump in, but honestly, it was good
I
to
feel
listen
bad
to him
because I talk
talk.
too much
And,
with him because I
No,
feel it's
no, no.
like I'm back home, right? That's the
Yeah, yeah.
problem.
but
then
I'm
because
okay with that. Like it
I
was
know, but
a
still,
really great conversation. So
I love them.
Yeah,
They're a
yeah.
great family.
Yeah.
They got a great stores. I mean, they just do phenomenal shit. They believe in the customer. And definitively, they lead by example. I'm telling you the truth. Like the
Yeah.
three of them, actually, the sisters in Shane too, all of them, and even his mom and dad. Well, if they wouldn't do it, they would do everything. If they told an employee to do something, no, they couldn't say anything to the employee. Why? Because they would do it. They would never get you to do anything that they wouldn't do, and they led by example. So I mean, good on them.
amazing.
That's it, buddy boy. I gotta go.
That's
I
it.
gotta head to
Chop
the
chop. You got a
store.
store to run.
I got a store to try to open. Their mind's all rotten. Jesus, let's get
Same
the open
thing.
first.
Potato.
Potato, tomato, tomato, whatever the hell.
All
Anyway,
right.
thanks for listening, everybody. And
Thank
Phil,
you.
I'll chat.
I'll talk to you later.
Sounds good, buddy boy.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, take care. Ciao.